Let's get one thing straight. This video isn't about condemning marriage. It's not a rant. It's not gossip. It's a reckoning, a confrontation with the quiet truths most men refuse to see until it's too late. We live in a world obsessed with appearances, rings on fingers, smiles in family photos, curated perfection on social media. But beneath the filters, the anniversaries, and the dinner dates, there's a storm. And some storms don't make noise until they destroy everything. The Stoics taught us something most modern men have forgotten. You suffer more from blindness than betrayal, because betrayal only hurts once. Blindness keeps you vulnerable forever. This video is about vision, about learning to see beyond what you're shown, because the modern world won't tell you this. Married women are not always off limits. They're not always fulfilled, and many of them are not cheating because they're wicked. They're cheating because they're withering. She was told marriage would complete her, that love was the destination. But what no one told her was that the journey ends quickly when comfort replaces connection. She wakes up every day next to a man who stops seeing her. She moves through life playing roles: wife, mother, scheduler, caretaker. But deep down, there's a woman who craves to be noticed, craves to be touched without obligation, craves a moment where she's not responsible, just wanted. You see, this isn't about villainy, it's about vacancy. And emptiness has a hunger that doesn't show up loud. It shows up in long stares at strangers, in late-night DMS she'll never admit to, in subtle flirting masked as just being friendly. She doesn't cheat for the thrill. She cheats because something inside her already died, and the world around her didn't notice. Most men lose not because they were wrong, but because they refused to feel when the energy shifted. That's why you're here, not to shame, not to hate, but to understand, to see through the illusion, to prepare your mind for what your heart might deny, and to become the kind of man who recognizes emotional starvation before it turns into betrayal. Because the man who walks the Stoic path, he doesn't chase, he doesn't beg, he observes. And when the signs are clear, he exits with silence, not drama, with clarity, not confusion. So no, this isn't about condemning marriage. It's about revealing the side no one dares to speak of, the side where good men get played, where sweet smiles hide silent exits, where truth feels like a punch in the gut, but also a wake-up call. Because one compliment, one glance, one emotionally charged conversation is often all it takes for a woman who's emotionally starving to justify the fall. And if you don't understand this, you won't just get blindsided, you'll get burned. Let's begin. 1. Marriage made her safe, but not satisfied. On the surface, she has it all. The husband, the kids, a Pinterest-worthy kitchen, filtered anniversary photos with captions like "My Rock," "My Forever," or "Blessed." But look closer. What you won't see in those curated snapshots is the woman behind the smile who hasn't felt truly alive in years. Because while marriage gave her security, it quietly robbed her of spontaneity. It wrapped her in predictability. Same dinner, same sex, same stories. Routine became her reality, and slowly, passion became a past life. She didn't fall out of love. She faded into safety. She wakes up every day to repeat the same checklist: school runs, groceries, emails, dinner. Somewhere between the laundry and the meal prep, she misplaced her fire. She used to be magnetic, playful, flirtatious, full of mischief and ambition. Now, she's a scheduler, a planner, a dependable fixture in a house that looks perfect from the outside and hollow from within. She's safe, but starving. Not for sex, for aliveness. So when a man walks past, calm, grounded, indifferent to her ring, and looks at her with unapologetic awareness, he doesn't just attract her, he resurrects her. Not because he's better, not because she's disloyal, but because in that brief moment, she remembers the version of herself she left behind. The version who laughed without checking the time, who danced without needing a reason, who wasn't just someone's wife or mother or reminder. When passion dies, attention becomes oxygen. And when a woman is emotionally suffocating, she'll take that oxygen wherever she finds it. It's not always about desire, it's about revival. She doesn't cheat out of lust, she cheats out of resurrection. And the Stoic man? He sees this, not to judge, but to understand the subtle tragedy of modern love and the silent death that often happens, long before the betrayal. 2. She's addicted to being noticed because he stopped noticing. If you want to understand temptation, you have to stop looking at the act and start examining the absence. Because what pulls a woman outside the lines isn't always desire, it's the vacuum of validation. He used to light up when she walked in the room, used to press her against the kitchen counter just because he couldn't help it, used to notice the way her eyes changed when she was excited. But now he sees her like furniture, useful, familiar, but unremarkable. He no longer studies her. He checks boxes. How was your day? Did you pick up the kids? What's for dinner? No more awe, no more edge, no more pursuit. And here's the dark truth. When a woman stops being desired, she starts seeking attention. Not because she's shallow, but because she's fading. So when a stranger says, "You look incredible for a mom," or "I can't believe you're married," you don't look it. That's not just a compliment, that's revival, a hit of dopamine, proof that she still exists beyond the labels of wife, mother, caregiver. And she doesn't even want the man who said it. She wants the feeling he gave her, the reflection of herself she saw in his eyes. Not obligation, not routine, just raw, unfiltered notice. Because women aren't addicted to cheating, they're addicted to being seen. She doesn't crave the man, she craves the mirror. And in a world where men stop seeing the women they vowed to adore, others will. That's why social media is a minefield. Every heart emoji, every flirty DM, every new follower. It's not about the person, it's about the feeling. Because when her husband stops complimenting her perfume, she'll lean into the man who does. When he stops noticing her curves, she'll upload a thirst trap. Not for lust, but for reassurance. And when she finally entertains the idea of stepping outside the marriage, it won't feel like betrayal. It'll feel like survival. 3. She knows society protects her mask. If a man cheats, he's labeled instantly dog, trash, unfaithful, weak. But when a woman cheats, especially a married one, people hesitate, excuse, deflect. She wouldn't do that. She's probably just lonely. She's a mother, she's under stress. That hesitation is her weapon. She doesn't need to lie. She just needs to lean into the script the world already wrote for her. When society assumes your innocence, deceit becomes effortless. She wears yoga pants, drives a family SUV, and posts Bible quotes on Sunday. Who would ever suspect? She flirts in plain sight, laughs too long at her coworkers' jokes, adds hearts to his comments, posts stories showing just enough skin to be curious, but not enough to raise alarms. And when you bring it up, you're overthinking. He's just a friend. You don't trust me anymore. Now you're the bad guy. You see, most men are conditioned to look for lipstick stains and suspicious texts. But the Stoic understands, betrayal doesn't always wear red. Sometimes it's disguised in calm tones, kind smiles, and digital affection. She won't be reckless. She'll be strategic, because she knows you trust her. She knows the world does too. And that's what makes her dangerous. She can cheat with her words, with her eyes, with her attention, all without touching another man. And by the time you catch on, she's already rewritten the narrative. You were distant, you were cold, you were unavailable. She gets sympathy, you get silence. But the Stoic man, he's not fooled by innocence packaged in femininity. He doesn't react to the mask. He reads the energy. The eyes may smile, the tone may soften, but energy never lies. So when the affection feels rehearsed, when the attention seems delayed, when the connection feels conditional, he doesn't confront, he doesn't argue, he watches, then exits, silently, decisively. Because when a man knows the game, he doesn't play it. He outgrows it. 4. She left emotionally, long before she ever cheats. Most men don't see it coming because most men are watching for actions. But betrayal, real betrayal, starts in silence. It starts in the quiet dinners. The distracted replies, the smiles that no longer reach her eyes. She still lives with you, still shares your bed, still posts happy anniversary with a heart emoji. But she's gone, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. She left months ago, she just hasn't packed her bags yet. A woman rarely cheats on a man she's still emotionally connected to. The departure always begins in the heart. You'll notice it if you're paying attention. She no longer laughs at your jokes. She starts sleeping further away. She scrolls while you talk. She gives her best energy to strangers online and hands you what's left over. And if you bring it up, she'll say you're imagining things, that you're insecure, that everything is fine. But fine is the prelude to farewell. Because when a woman disconnects emotionally, she doesn't start sleeping around. She starts feeling justified. Justified to flirt, justified to seek attention, justified to say, it just happened. But nothing just happens. Cheating is rarely spontaneous. It's the final scene of a long, quiet play. And the Stoic man? He doesn't wait for the bedroom betrayal. He listens for the early withdrawal. He watches how her energy shifts when her phone buzzes. He notices how her tone changes with everyone, except him. And when he feels that truth, he doesn't beg. He doesn't accuse. He withdraws with dignity. Because begging for connection is the first betrayal of the self. You want to know when she truly left? It wasn't when she kissed someone else. It was when she stopped opening up to you and started lighting up for someone else's attention. Most men try to reignite what's already ashes. But the Stoic? He doesn't relight a fire that was never his to tend. 5. She plays the innocent role because no one ever suspects the snake in the garden. You've been taught your whole life. Good girls don't cheat. Wives are loyal. Mothers don't lie. But here's the truth. Deception isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers through soft voices and innocent smiles. The most dangerous woman isn't the one who's wild. It's the one who's mastered the mask. She's gentle, soft-spoken, respected in her community, maybe even praised for her faith, her motherhood, her loyalty. And that's exactly why no one sees her coming. She plays the role to perfection. The devoted wife, the caring mother, the woman who would never. But Stoic men don't look at surface. We look at energy, and energy never lies. Because when a woman is emotionally manipulating you, she doesn't raise her voice. She lowers it. She becomes even more sweet, even more understanding, even more untouchable. So if something feels off and you bring it up, she'll cry, she'll blame, she'll say, I've been holding this relationship together by myself. You've been emotionally unavailable. I didn't want it to happen. It just did. And just like that, you're the villain. But here's the part no one tells you. She didn't trip and fall into someone else's arms. She walked step by step, excuse by excuse, smile by calculated smile. She wasn't lost. She was rehearsing. Every subtle withdrawal, every quiet justification. It was part of her exit strategy. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly what to say. And when she finally gets caught, she'll hide behind the same thing society always hands her: innocence. But the Stoic man? He doesn't get caught in emotional crossfire. He doesn't wrestle with shadows. He doesn't fight to prove her guilt. He feels the shift. He sees the contradiction. And he leaves, not to punish, but to preserve his peace. Because a man grounded in truth doesn't need proof to validate what his soul already knows. If you've ever felt this, not just seen it, but felt it, the long silences, the hollow hugs, the sense that the woman in your life was physically present but spiritually absent. If you've ever held her while she was already slipping away, still smiling, still saying I love you, but her energy whispered, I'm no longer yours, then this message is for you. Drop the word aware in the comments, not for clout, not for attention, but because some man scrolling right now needs to see it. He needs to know that what he's sensing isn't paranoia. It's pattern recognition. It's his instincts trying to speak before his heart gets shattered. You can love someone deeply, and they can still betray you quietly. Not with a scream, but with a smile. Not with war, but with withdrawal. And if you don't train your mind to recognize that shift, you'll keep giving to someone who already gave themselves to someone else. Emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically. But a Stoic man? He's built differently. He doesn't wait for evidence. He reads energy. He doesn't cling to words. He watches patterns. And when the vibe no longer aligns with the truth, he doesn't fight. He exits, silently, without burning the house, without dragging her name. Because peace is the weapon of the powerful, and silence is the shield of the wise. So if you're still watching, know this: you are not alone. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are awakening. And in that awakening, you don't lose her. You find yourself. Subscribe if you're done living blind, if you're done hoping they change while you slowly fall apart. This is your space. This is your mirror. This is your reminder. Watch her actions, not her ring. Protect your energy, not her excuses. Stay sharp, stay calm, stay stoic.